Don't ask me. All of a sudden, voices start appearing on Zoom. What can I tell you? Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Barry Sterling Mitchell. I produce the Sterling Net Point Power Rankings and the Bias Plus reports. And this is Ben and Barry on football.
Hello out there. This is Ben Dickerson. I'm your co-host. Repping my basketball team, the Philadelphia 76ers. Got the second game of their series tonight. But right now, we're here to talk about football.
Yeah, we're going to talk about football because we were talking a little b-ball and you were sharing your disinterest in all the other games that
That's
I'm
not
like,
true.
So
it's not true.
Not true. That's not true.
Not true.
You are interested.
I'm interested, but I don't have to watch those games, and I don't have to watch them in full. But I must watch my Sixers.
I'm really enjoying watching those games. The Knicks series is really interesting. You know, the Knicks always seem to have a villain in Madison Square Garden, somebody that's coming in that's really got all the spectators juiced up. I remember back in the day with my Bulls, man, that was a big thing when they came to town, and you know, so it's interesting watching those guys with Trey. What's his last name?
Burks?
Huh?
Alec Burks?
No, Trey. His name is Trey.
Oh, Ice Trey?
Yeah, Ice Trey. Ice Trey. Giving it to him, man.
I love him. He took me to a couple of fantasy championships in basketball.
Did he really?
I love him. First of all, after he shoots the lights out, makes you call timeout, then he goes, ooh, cold. It's cold in here.
Liking him, man. You know, you got to have a nice villain, a good villain.
I love him. But I got the Knicks in that series.
You actually got the Knicks?
Yes.
Okay. All right. We shall see. Well, you know, we already talked about my man from the Bulls, you know, and the things that he's been, you know, able to do as he's joined. I don't know why I'm blanking on his name. You know who I'm talking about.
Coach?
Huh? Rose, Derek. Rose. Yeah.
You're killing me.
Derek
Rose.
Yeah. With the Knicks.
Yeah, I get it. I get it.
Okay. Yeah. You know, it's just it's an interesting mix of people. You know, it's an interesting mix of people. What do you like about the Nets? Anything?
No.
You gotta like that fourth guy. What is his name? Joe Harris?
Joe Harris, another guy that carried me to fantasy championships.
Did he really?
Yeah, you know why? Because he doesn't he doesn't load manage. He plays every night.
Okay.
When Durant was out, he did the scoring. When Harden was hurt, he did the scoring. When Kyrie Irving couldn't play, he handled the ball and did the scoring.
I'm looking at him and they're like, he has the highest 3-point percentage in the league. I'm like, whoa, wait a minute. He was lighting them up, man. I didn't even know who he was. So, you know, you do all that fantasy stuff, it really helps you. All right. We started something last week. We started looking at the quarterbacks, the quarterback rooms in the NFL as they exist on the rosters today. So what we're going to do, we did the NFC last week. So ladies and gentlemen, if you did not have an opportunity to see last week's show, go back because we go through every NFC team, the quarterback room. We talk a little bit about each one of the quarterbacks, and there's some interesting quarterback combinations in the NFC, and there's some very intriguing quarterback combination rooms in the AFC. So you ready to rock and roll with that, Mr. Dickerson?
Yes, sir. Let's do it.
All right. First up, we have the Baltimore Ravens quarterback room. Number 3 there is not somebody I'm familiar with. Mr. Kenji Bahar, 6'3". We have Tyler Huntley came in. He's at 6'1". We have Lamar Jackson, the starter, obviously. And we have somebody that we like a lot, Trace McSorley. Our question last week was, could the backup quarterbacks I'm going to try to say it correctly this time, Ben, maintain the level of competition or competitiveness at the very least if the starter goes down, at least for a few good games? And is there anybody in that backup room that you feel could pick it up and really run with it? So I'm going to put it that way, unless you have some other approach you'd like to talk about.
No, I hear what you're saying. And we've talked to this, just in normal conversation in the past. So I know kind of what you're thinking about and where you're going with this. The Baltimore Ravens are the one team, I'm sure there's somebody else that'll come along, but right now, I can definitely tell you that the Baltimore Ravens are one team that are trying to do what you feel every team should do, and that is match your backup skills as closely as you can to the starter skills. They have Lamar Jackson. He is the starter. They've been backing him up with Robert Griffin III, and they also drafted Trace McSorley out of Penn State, who, when you first look at him, you go, are you serious? But if you watch Trace McSorley play, you will see he's obviously not Lamar Jackson, but the kid can move. He can throw from the pocket. He can scramble. He can get downfield. He has a little bit of speed.
Pretty savvy, too.
He's a pretty savvy kid, yeah.
Pretty savvy young man. I think that's what I liked about him the most.
Yeah, he went to Penn State, so, he's okay.
Okay, Mr. Penn State.
But now that Robert Griffin III is gone, they got from the Green Bay Packers, I believe, I know he did play for the Packers at one time, Tyler Huntley, who also is about as close as you're going to get to Lamar without being a starter. You know what I mean? They can't bring Kyler Murray in as a backup. He's already a starter. So you got to do the best you can. And when you try to fit skill sets, Tyler Huntley probably would fit fairly well. All right. I don't know who Kenji Behar is, and I really don't care, because if something was to happen to Lamar Jackson, most likely Trace McSorley would be the first guy off the bench.
What are we drinking today?
Glenlivet, 12-year-old single malt Scotch whiskey. You know we're recording, right?
Yeah, I know. We always this is now a thing now to find out what you're drinking today.
Okay, well, that's what I'm drinking. I am drinking it on ice because I know I got a long night, so I'm trying to pace myself. Normally, I drink this straight.
All right, good stuff, good stuff. So next up, Benny, we're going to take a look at your Buffalo Bills. Oh, man. Now, when you have a star quarterback like Josh Allen, I mean, bringing somebody off the bench, you got to have at least a strong-minded backup. You know what I mean? Be able to come up knowing that they got some big shoes to fill. So who we have coming off of here that has that type of mentality? A Mitchell Trubisky, maybe? A Jake Fromm or a Davis Webb? A Mitchell Trubisky, maybe? Mitchell Trubisky could probably go to Buffalo and be all the player that everyone wanted him to be all along.
And that is quite possible. I find it improbable, but it is quite possible. At this point, I'm looking at Davis Webb, who has how many years in the league? 3?
That's what it looks like, yes.
Jacob Fromm, who I like Jacob Fromm in college. Jacob Fromm played for Georgia. Jacob Fromm was a pretty good college quarterback. I can't remember if he was drafted by the Bills, but I think he was. So he's been in the quarterback room there for at least a year. Says he's got 2 years under his belt here. And then they felt the need to bring in Mitchell Trubisky, who is an NFL veteran and has been around for a little while and has been a starter. When you bring in a guy like a Mitchell Trubisky to be your backup, it leads me to believe that you don't believe that the quarterbacks that you have there already are ready for prime time if that happens. Okay. So obviously Josh Allen is a star, is very difficult to mimic the skill sets that he has. But actually, Mitchell Trubisky is not that far off physically. Okay. They got a lot of work to do with him and the playbook and their schemes and the way they like to do things. But and trust me, I like the Buffalo Bills. I hope like heck we never have to see Mitchell Trubisky. But if in fact we do, there's a good possibility he'll do well.
Mitchell Trubisky has had his good days. And a lot of times, you know, me, I'm pretty tough on the coaches. A lot of times I think that they lean too heavily on, you know, their athleticisms of their quarterbacks. But again, like you said, Josh is 6'5", Mitchell's 6'2". Actually, I thought Mitchell Trubisky was a little taller than that. 6'2" seems a little short to me. I'm a little surprised at that height. They're close to the same age, you know, so not too much difference. Josh Allen, obviously carrying some more weight there, about 17 pounds more, you know, so he's a load. There's no doubt about it. And we always thought about Trubisky as a load at 6'2", 220. He's about a good linebacker size. But Josh is bigger than girth-wise, he's not bigger than a lineman, but he is, you know, weight-wise on par with the linebackers, you know, or more. So that is an interesting situation there. Just taking a quick look at some of the contracts that they have over there. Mitchell was brought in for about $2 million for 2021. So he's not really a big, his cap number is actually 22.5 mil. So I'm a little surprised that he's that lightly paid. They guaranteed him, or they gave him they guaranteed him what, 1.5 of it. So he pretty much got all his money. So we'll see, but it wasn't a long-term commitment. They have Jake Fromm under contract till 2023. So they must have had some, you know, much longer idea for him. And your Davis Webb has a contract through 2022, totaling between 2021 and 2022, 1.8 million. So those guys, obviously, he has a much shorter contract time period. It looks like they were really depending on Jake Fromm, but you get an opportunity to bring in a Mitchell Trubisky and see how that works out, and didn't really cost him a lot of money. He sounds like he's almost in the paycheck range of Cam Newton.
Right. Actually, probably making less than Cam, because Cam obviously is a starter. Trubisky's a backup. It's his 5th year, so he's not far off of coming off of his rookie contract. So he hasn't even really had an opportunity to hit the big money yet. He would have had an opportunity to hit the big money if he, in fact, had been successful in Chicago. Unfortunately, the Chicago Bears quarterback situation has been a dumpster fire for the last few years, including Nick Foles. So I know Justin Fields is holding his breath over there, but the fans are holding their breath, hoping that they see him sooner than later. The good thing for Mitchell Trubisky is now the pressure is off. You don't have a whole city depending on you to carry the franchise. You can be the backup on a successful team, a winning team, a successful franchise with a good coaching staff, obviously, that's improved their line. I'm licking my chops for Josh Allen. I really am. I think he's going to have a stupendous season this year, but you know, that's not what we're really talking about. What we're really talking about is backup quarterbacks and the quarterback rooms for every NFC team. I think that the Bills have a good one, and their long-term plans are for Jacob Fromm. So keep Jake Fromm's name in your head.
All right, there we go. That's the Buffalo Bills quarterback room. So next up, Benny, we have the Cincinnati Bengals. Now, this is an interesting quarterback class because of Joe Burrow. And he was looking so good last year, playing so well for a rookie, and then he had his injury. So there's your starter. He's coming back. I hear he's looking good, feeling good, ready to compete. 6'4", 221. Behind him, you have Brandon Allen, 6'2", 209. Eric Dungey, Dungey, and Kyle Shermer. Okay, so that's your quarterback room for the Cincinnati Bengals.
All right, this one's pretty easy. I don't have a lot to say, but what I'm going to ask you to do before I even start to talk is do a real quick background check on Eric Dungey and Kyle Shermer and tell me if they are or are not the sons of Coach Dungey and Coach Shermer. In the meantime, there's no doubt about it that Joe Burrow is the leader of the Cincinnati Bengals and will be for the foreseeable future. At 6'4", 221, he's already shown what he can do. They've already improved under him. And even though he had an injury-shortened season last year, he's shown a lot of promise. So I don't expect anything as far as basically all they got to do is keep him on his feet and everything's going to be fine for Cincinnati, and they're going to become a threat in an extremely tough division in the AFC North, AFC Central. That being said, first guy off the bench for them is going to be Brandon Allen. Here's a guy that's been around a little bit, even though he's only been in the league for like 5 years. He's already played, I believe, for Carolina. Please, if I ever say anything wrong, by the way, you guys out there watching, please correct me. Please, hit the subscribe button and do all that stuff. Leave comments. Let me know if I make a mistake about something. But I believe he played for Carolina, and I believe he may have put in a little bit of time with the Washington football team. But Brandon Allen has had some starts in the NFL, so he would definitely be the first guy off the bench if, in fact, Joe Burrow was to get injured again. I don't think that's going to happen. I hope it doesn't happen. I believe that the Bengals have addressed the offensive line as best they could in free agency and in the draft, and they're going to try their best to keep Joe Burrow upright so that they can continue to improve.
Well, let me first say that I don't believe that is Coach Dungey's son.
Okay.
Okay. He would have had to have been probably adopted. And just taking a quick look at the contracts for, you have Kyle Shermer, correct?
Yeah.
Kyle Shermer, it looks to be signed through 2021. He has a cap number of about 660,000. So he looks to be riding the minimum there. Then you have Brandon Allen, who also has a contract through 2021. Cap number is about 1.5 million. So again, short-term contract there. Mr. Dungey is coming in with a similar contract, 660,000 contracted through 2021. So it doesn't look like the Bengals are looking for their quarterback of the future. I'm not sure if they have the backup that they need. You can tell me a little bit more if you think that they're the competitive backups.
Well, all I can say is you got to understand, teams don't draft backup quarterbacks. They back quarterbacks they believe will be starters. If they draft a quarterback in the first round, they believe he is their future starter and will probably start sooner than later. If they draft a quarterback in the later rounds, they're drafting him to be their quarterback of the future, but not the immediate future. I hope that I said that clearly. So if you draft a quarterback in the first round, chances are if he doesn't play that year, he's playing next year. if you draft a quarterback in the 3rd or 4th round, the plan is that he will see the light of day in the next 2 or 3 or 4 years. Okay, you're grooming him to be your future starter. So a lot of teams don't do that, but what they will do is they will get former starters like Trubisky, or they will get former backups from other teams who have had the opportunity to be emergency starters, like Brandon Allen. He's come off the bench for a starter before. He's done it. So hence, that's their backup.
What do you think about that backup room now?
Well, the other 2 guys are there to learn. Brandon Allen's there to be ready to play if Burrow goes down.
Okay. How much of a drop-off do you think it is between those 2?
Joe Burrow is way better than Brandon Allen, but Brandon Allen has a lot more experience than Joe Burrow does. Brandon Allen's been in the league for 5 years.
Okay. Good point. All right. That's Cincinnati and the Bengals, but we're going to stay in Ohio with the Cleveland Browns. Let's see if we can get the Cleveland Browns going here. All right, here you go. Now, this is the first team that has only 3 quarterbacks listed on the roster on their website. Baker Mayfield, obviously, is the starter. Number 6 coming in. He's 26 years old, 215 pounds. Kyle Lauletta. I hope I said that correctly. 6'3", 222, 26 years old, same age as Baker. And Case Keenum. Case is still hanging. Got Case coming off the bench, 33 years of age. What's that? 9 years in the league. Case Keenum. There you go, Benny. They should have kept him. He was in Minnesota, right?
Lately, he was in Minnesota, and he spent a little time in San Francisco, and he's probably been somewhere else too that I can't think of right now. When you've been in the league for 9 years, it's kind of hard to track your movement, especially when you move around as much as he does. So he's basically a journeyman, and at this point, I would say he can take the title of career backup. The good thing is for Case Keenum is that because he's a career backup and he's been around and he has a lot of experience and is exactly the same height and the same weight as Baker Mayfield, guess who's first guy off the bench if something happens to Baker Mayfield? Yeah, Case Keenum. Okay. Kyle Lauletta, close to their size, actually a little bit bigger than the 2 of them, and he backed up Daniel Jones, and I believe he backed up oh my goodness. Oh, I hate when my brain goes blank like that. He backed up Manning.
Talking about Lauletta?
He backed up Manning. Yes, Kyle Lauletta backed up Manning, and I think he backed up Daniel Jones early.
Okay.
Yeah, but he's only been in the league 2 years, so I think he backed up Manning. No, he couldn't have done Manning. He was the backup for Daniel Jones last year. Yes.
Okay.
He was the backup for Daniel Jones in New York Giants. So he's just a guy. Case Keenum is the backup.
Well,
and Case Keenum can win games for you.
Yeah.
He's proven that.
Yeah.
I mean, he's not Fitzmagic, but he can come in and he can help you win, especially a talented team like the Cleveland Browns. Let me make this clear. For the Cleveland Browns to get Case Keenum as a backup for Mayfield, I think is a very smart move because they've made so many improvements on a team that was already on the rise that all he has to do is be a game manager at this point if, in fact, something was to happen to Baker Mayfield. So best case scenario, if for him to get playing time is if Baker maybe sustains a little injury, he can't finish a game, but he comes back the next week, or he sustains an injury, Keenum comes in, finishes the game, starts the next week, and then Baker's okay, something like that. You don't want him to have to carry you for 4, 5, 6 games. But if anybody can do it, he can do it. I'm just saying, he's not going to turn the ball over a lot. He's not going to screw up. He's going to hand it off to their dynamic run game, and he's going to throw safe passes to good receivers, and he's going to keep that offense moving. I think he's a fine backup for them. He's not Baker Mayfield, but he can get the job done if they need him to.
Looking at the contracts, it looks as if what you're saying is holding congruent to the contracts. As I look here at Kyle Lauletta, he signed through 2021, $780,000 base salary. That's about his cap hit. And when you look at Case Keenum, Case is signed through 2022. So he looks to have about 13, close to 18 million total contract with them. So he looks to be their backup, the guy that they're depending on. He's probably doing a little coaching in the background there, you think?
Most veteran backups do.
If the team is smart, you better get all you can out of that. That's a great thing.
He's the de facto quarterback coach.
When you say the de facto, eh?
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Because I've always liked Case Keenum. I have to admit, I like Case Keenum. So I thought he got a bit of a raw deal. But in any event, we're going to get ready to move on to the Denver Broncos. Yeah. Now, talking about quarterback rooms, the Denver Broncos is the place that was being bandied about as a potential landing point for one Aaron Rodgers.
That's not going to happen.
Huh?
That's not going to happen.
Don't think it's going to happen either at this particular point, but they were definitely in the conversation big time. I was a little surprised at how big time it was, but you had to be in a real special position to be able to afford to make that trade, So not everybody could even afford that. So let's take a quick look.
I would call most of that conversation pure speculation. Again, like you said, the talking heads on television were basically running back and forth, looking at each team's salary cap situation, draft pick situation, player situation, and trying to figure out where his landing spot would be according to what particular teams had to give up for him, right? But none of that really means anything. The whole Denver thing, I think, they might feel like Denver has the most to give to get him, and they kind of got a little better chance than most NFC teams are concerned, because if in fact the Packers were going to try to trade him, they definitely would try their best to keep him out of the NFC, and them being in the AFC, obviously they would try to, they would look good there. But I don't think it's going to happen. I don't think it ever was going to happen. I don't think they've even inquired about getting Aaron Rodgers. So I don't think that's a big deal story. What I will say, though, is I like this quarterback room the way it is. Okay? We got Drew Lock here, who was drafted to be their starter, who didn't quite pan out. But in his defense, the Broncos have had a lot of issues. Early on, they had offensive issues and defensive issues. Lately, they seem to have fixed most of the offensive skill position issues and are beginning to build on their defense. The great thing is again, and I've said this before, when you have a starter, but you don't really have your full faith in him, you have to get yourself a veteran backup or a veteran who can come in and compete for the starting job. That would be Teddy Bridgewater. Brett Rippon, however, has come off the bench and played well and shown that he can be a quality backup. So they actually have a pretty good setup here. So if they have a true competition and Bridgewater wins it, which is what I think will happen if, in fact, they do have a true competition, I think Bridgewater will win the job. Then you still have Drew Lock, and you have Rippon. Now, who would come off the bench? If Bridgewater started and he got hurt, I would have to think that they would go with Drew Lock simply because he's been there and he knows the playbook. So that would be my guess.
Wait a minute, say that one more time for me.
Okay. If Teddy Bridgewater wins the quarterback competition, if in fact there is a true quarterback competition in Denver, and Teddy Bridgewater wins the quarterback competition, if something was to happen to Teddy, Drew Lock would probably be the first guy off the bench because he has been there. He knows the playbook. He knows the system. He knows.
Yeah, he was the starter.
He was the starter.
Yeah.
So obviously, he would be the first guy off the bench. Now, let's say there's not a true competition. This is why Denver is intriguing. There may not be a true competition. They may say, Drew Lock, we're going to give you one more shot to be the starter on this team. We got you lots of receivers. We got your running backs. We fixed our offensive line. We're trying to get you help on defense. We're going to give you one more shot to do this, and Teddy's going to be the backup. And he's probably a high-paid backup. I know you've been looking at some of these salaries. If there's a high-paid backup, it would be Teddy, okay? They may go that route. But if that happens—
Very interesting that you mentioned this because, yes, if you're going to say high paid, he has a 1-year contract worth about $4.4 million.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
so that's
those other guys were getting $1 million or less.
Yeah, because Mr. Rippon,
yes,
he has a 1-year contract worth 1.5,
right,
approximately.
He's an emergency. He's the emergency quarterback, but he has started NFL games in an emergency. So he's a good guy to have. He has that experience under his belt. So you want to bring him in, learn the system.
Interestingly, Drew Lock, he's only signed through 2022. You know, again, he got that rookie contract.
Still on his rookie deal.
Yeah. And so his 2021 hit looks to be about 1.9 million, and his 2022 hit looks to be about 2.2 million.
And that's why I said a lot of people are saying, oh, they got Teddy. Teddy's going to be the starter. Not necessarily. I believe that they will give Drew Lock every opportunity to be the starter on this team, at least for one more year. And if, in fact, he earns that, they will feel good about their backup situation because they have Teddy Bridgewater. They're hedging their bets. They're setting things up, okay? And if everything falls that way, that's a good thing for the Denver Broncos. It's not like they don't want Drew Lock to succeed, okay? They drafted him fairly high. I'm not sure if he was the first rounder or second rounder, but they drafted him to be their quarterback. Things didn't go well, but it wasn't because of him, and he had an injury. So they're going to give him every opportunity to prove himself. And having Teddy Bridgewater as a backup is not a bad thing. That's a very good thing.
He was drafted in the second round, number 42 overall.
There you go, second rounder. So he was drafted to be the quarterback of the future, but not the immediate future. But they had a guy named Simeon. They had another guy. Those guys all fell through. Those guys were horrible. So they're like, you know what, Drew Lock, get out there. Let's see what you can do. But the team wasn't very good. and they've been through several coaches. So they can't blame him for those failures. But now they're in a place where they can give him a true opportunity to prove that he can do this. And if he does, that's a good thing. It won't be a good thing for Teddy because Teddy's going to probably stay there as the backup because I don't think he's going to get a chance to be a starter anymore. If he does, I'll be happy for him, but I don't know.
All right. There you go. Let's see who we have next here in the lineup for the quarterback room. We have the Houston Texans. I mean, you know, all right. So
I almost don't even want to talk about this team, to tell you the truth. I'm not sure.
I know. The shadow over Deshaun and the whole scenario. First of all, for a fan of Deshaun, anybody who's been a fan, it's somewhat heartbreaking to have him even in the situation that he is in. He has recently had some training type video, like he's out there taking snaps, throwing the ball. You know, he's working on his football apparently. So that came out. But you have Tyrod Taylor, and we talked a little bit about him. I think last week you said that you would have preferred, rather than go to the Texans, to get the needle in the lung.
I didn't say that.
Yes, you did too.
Get out of here.
It's on, ladies and germs. Go back to last week, and you will hear him say that.
I don't remember saying that, but I tell you the truth. There's worse things that could happen than getting the needle in the lung, and then, I don't know. This is not a great situation for Deshaun or anybody else, to tell you the truth. I have no idea what's going to happen this season with Deshaun Watson. Things have been kind of quiet as far as this whole thing with the massage therapist and all is concerned. Tyrod Taylor is obviously a career backup, but he fits there. If you're looking for a fit for Deshaun Watson, Tyrod Taylor would be it. Davis Mills is a rookie. I have nothing to say about him, but Jeff Driscoll played for Cincinnati and has been a backup and has had to start games in an emergency. He's a pretty big guy, 6'4", 235, throws the ball fairly well. He's not terrible. Jeff Driscoll is a decent backup. But I would venture to guess that if in fact something was to happen to Deshaun, that Tyrod Taylor would be the first guy off the bench.
Very interesting. Looking at Davis Mills, 6'4", 225, coming out of Stanford. Smart guy.
Davis Mills. Okay. I know Davis Mills. Stanford. That's a shame that he landed there.
He looks that he got about a $5 million contract, even though it's as I'm looking at it in overthecap.com, I see it in one area, but the other area where they normally have your information and your totals, I don't see it. So I'm not sure what the situation is. But right now he has 0 salary cap hit. Maybe that's why I'm not seeing anything there. So they must have just paid him.
Yeah, he probably just signed that as his rookie contract recently, if they actually have numbers for him. Davis Mills is a name that was mentioned along with Kellen Mond and
Kellen Mond. He's up there with Kellen Mond.
And
was that Trask? Who's the other guy? Trask?
And Trask, yes. The lower echelon of quarterbacks after you got through, Trevor Lawrence and all those guys.
Right.
On that second level. I knew his name, but I couldn't remember. All I had to do was look over there and see Stanford. I would have remembered. Yes. So guess what this tells me? It's funny. I don't know. Remember, this is something else I want you to remember. Most people won't remember, but remember Ben said this. Davis Mills is the Texans quarterback of the future. That's why they picked him. Because with all this Deshaun mess going on, he's not going to be in Houston very long. If he plays this season, I won't be shocked.
I will.
But I don't think, okay. But I don't think he'll be around very long. He wants out, and I believe they want him out. So they brought in Tyrod Taylor to back him up if he plays, so that if something happens to him, Tyrod Taylor can come in and kind of do the same things that he does. Jeff Driscoll's the emergency quarterback, and Davis Mills is the quarterback of the future.
Well, Tyrod.
Here's the other thing. If Deshaun goes, Tyrod Taylor goes with him.
Really?
They won't need him anymore.
Because
Davis Mills will come up.
Step right up and be ready to rock?
They'd rather have Davis Mills come up under Jeff Driscoll. They will start Jeff Driscoll for a year if they have to get Davis Mills ready. Trust me.
Well, that's interesting. Tyrod has a cap hit for 2021 of $5.3 million. So they paid him a little bit of money, which maybe flies a bit in the face of what you're saying. Jeff Driscoll is signed through 2021. His cap hit is 1.3, a little under 1.4, 1.37. And Davis Mills, like you said, he's on a one-year contract, but that's a rookie deal. Looks like a nice deal at about $5 million. So yeah, I see what you're saying. He looks like somebody that they had a lot of faith in. Coming in, drafted in the third round, number 67 overall.
You have to pay Tyrod more. Number one, he's been a starter for several years. Number two, he's been around for 11 years. You have to pay him more. Number three, he's the closest thing to Deshaun Watson you're going to get. But if Deshaun Watson leaves, there's no need to keep Tyrod Taylor. They're ready to go pocket quarterback, Davis Mills, and whatever time. Look at this. Davis Mills, they drafted him. He's 6'4", 225. Jeff Driscoll is 6'4", 235. Coincidence? I think not.
But it's like no coinkydink there, eh?
I can see it coming.
Well, Benny,
they can figure out how to get something for. See, they don't want to let Deshaun go for free. They got to get something for him. They get something for him, he's out of there. And if he's out of there, there's no need to keep Tyrod Taylor. Tyrod Taylor will never be a starter anymore. His starting days are over. He's a career backup. You know where he'll end up? In Baltimore.
That's a bold prediction.
Remember what I'm telling you all this, so when it happens.
Hey, it's on film, man.
Okay.
You're saying it's all on tape.
Yeah.
That's what you said about the needle in the lung. You might not remember it, but it's there. All right. That is too funny. And you know something? I hear what you're saying about them wanting to get something back for Deshaun. So interesting. First of all, I didn't quite understand why Deshaun wanted out so bad when he had an entirely new coaching staff.
That could be part of it.
Could have been, but that was the only black coach that got hired in that slew of coaches, and he got no press for that. We brought it up. Huh?
He's still new. He's a first-year head coach. That doesn't mean anything's going to be bad.
He had a lot of experience. He might be a first-year head coach. He had a lot of experience. And he had a first-year head coach in New York with the Jets, and everybody ain't freaking out like he don't know what he's doing and all of that. But my point simply is that it was interesting.
Defensive coordinator. There's a difference.
Well, the thing was, I was just surprised that he was still pushing so hard to get out. Then you couple that with his situation either civilly or criminally. We don't know how that's going to end up. So his value, you know, it's getting to the point where, yeah, you want to get something back for him. How much you can get with his current situation is going to be real questionable. So it looks like what you're saying is they're ready to rock and roll with somebody else, you know, one way or the other.
They're ready to rock with somebody else, mainly because he doesn't want to be there. The other situation could go one way or the other.
Yes, it could.
But he doesn't want to be there. That they know. So they know they got to cut ties with him one way or the other.
Now, has he done an Aaron Rodgers where he actually did not say this?
I believe he said he did not want to play for them.
Okay, all right. Well, we know a lot of people ran out of Houston, you know.
Before these allegations came out.
Yeah, I know.
Conspiracy theorists are saying that that's why this stuff all got started, because he wanted out. And this lawyer that brought these women forward is an extremely close friend of the owner of the team. So when your star quarterback says, I don't want to be here anymore. Well, we got your black head coach. We changed over to that. I don't want to be here anymore. When he does that, that tells me, forget all this stuff you're trying to do. I don't like you, the owner. All the stuff you've done in the past, you've shown me who you are. So now you're trying to make up by bringing in a black head coach and changing the staff and stuff. I don't want to hear that. Will Fuller, gone. DeAndre Hopkins, gone. You brought in freaking David Johnson. You're not helping me at all. You're not helping me at all. You set me up for failure just to keep me here? No, bro. I'm gone. I'm out. So they know he's out of here. So they got to try to get something for. They can't just let him go. He's still a valuable commodity. And there's teams out there watching the news every day, waiting to see what's going to happen with his situation before they start calling Houston and saying, we'll give up blah, 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 blah to get him. Draft picks, players, both. Money, equipment, blocking sleds. What do you need?
Well, they're like you said, they look like they know what they want to do. What you said though about about this being a conspiracy coming down from the head coach, you sure about this? You really want to put that out there, young man?
Coach. I didn't say that. I said the owner.
I mean, from the owner. I'm sorry, from the owner. This is a conspiracy from the owner down that is being wrought upon Deshaun Watson. So
I'm not saying that it's driven by the owner, but it is being driven by a very close friend of the owner. The owner may not have been, started this, but a close friend of the owner and a Houston Texans fan started this. He ran out, found these women, and stacked them up and leaked the story. For all I know, the dude is he's just mad. It's gotten real quiet lately. When's the last time you heard anything about this? About Deshaun and these women? A week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks?
Maybe. Maybe.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
He sounded like he had him over the barrel when he first came out.
It was looking funny. It was looking a little scary. And again,
real quiet now.
When you have a Deshaun Watson who has access to all of the massage capabilities of his team, but he's reaching out on Instagram to women across whoever to get these massages done. That just seemed really, really strange, So we'll have to leave it at that. Okay, enough for the Houston Texans. I was going to say Oilers, Benny. You already had that flashback there, Start singing. Houston Oilers.
No, don't sing. Don't sing.
Houston Oilers. You ready for the Indianapolis Colts quarterback room? You got a starter here, Benny. I just wanted to throw this out here because this can affect everything. The Colts are carrying a total cap number over the period through 2024 of $98.4 million, averaging about 20 and 21 and 22, 27 and 23, 25 and 24, 26. All of that, we're looking at approximately anywhere from 10 to 13% of the cap going to one Mr. Wentz.
Okay.
So we'll start there.
This one's
quarterback room includes Jason Eason, Sam Ehlinger, and Jalen Morton. What do you got?
So Sam Ehlinger is a rookie from the University of Texas. Jalen Morton, I'm not going to pretend I know who he is because I do not. Jacob Eason's been around for a couple of years and has been with the Colts at least a year. So he's been in that quarterback room. He pretty much knows the playbook. At this point, I believe that the Colts are playing a dangerous game. It could pay off for them. It could blow up in their faces. But they are pretty much putting all their eggs in Carson Wentz's basket. I'm not going to say he's a shot fighter. He was looking that way when he was with the Eagles. But I believe he's young enough. He's only been in the league for 6 years now. I believe he's young enough and confident or self-confident enough that in a new situation with a coach that he likes and trusts, that he has a chance to turn his career around. If in fact he does that, all he has to do is stay healthy and the Colts will do well. If something were to happen to Carson Wentz, Jacob Eason will probably be the first guy off the bench, simply because he's been there.
Okay. All right, just taking a quick look. Mr. Ehlinger is signed through 2024. He's got a total cap hit from 2021 through 2024 of about $3.6 million. Mr. Eason is signed through 2023. His total cap hit from 2020 to 2023 is about $4 million. So these are not big cap hits. So that's going to give them some wiggle room if they need to get away from Carson Wentz. But it looks like they really, like you said, they pretty much tied their boat to Carson Wentz. And it's either going to float or they're going to go down in flames. We shall see. I have the most hope for Carson. I mean, Carson, his athleticism over the years is unquestioned. I think, I don't know if it's at the level it was maybe 2 or 3 years ago after you've added in the different injuries that he's had. But like you said, it's the thought pattern. It's the decision making that just seemed to break down. And I just remember so many times I kept saying, just throw the ball away. I mean, under this tremendous pressure, you're right there, just get rid of it. And he wouldn't do it. And Carson Wentz went down. So that's going to be an interesting quarterback room.
It will be. To me, Carson Wentz is kind of this might not be the right term, but he's a front runner. When things are going well, he plays really well. When things are not going well, he has a lot of problems. So he's on a team that's probably more fit for immediate success than the Eagles are and were. So that's a good thing for him. I think he'll play well. I don't know how well he'll play, but I think he'll play well, and I think he'll play well enough that if he stays healthy, the Colts will go far.
That is an interesting question as far as his health is concerned. I think we both wish him well in terms of that. I mean, it's kind of like we said with I won't keep wanting to say Fitzpatrick, that, hey, I think he could do well. And I think that, Carson could do well because it's the mentals and it's that type of coaching relationship that I think he really needed. So we'll just, wish the best for Carson. All right. Who do we have up next here? We have the Jaguars quarterback room with number 1 draft pick Trevor Lawrence right there, 6'6", 213 rookie. C.J. Beathard, former Niner, now sitting in that quarterback room. Jake Luton and Gardner Minshew the second. Okay, so that's your quarterback room for your Jaguars. What do you have to say about that?
So this one's pretty easy. Obviously, Trevor Lawrence is the starter, the future, the franchise, the everything for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Gardner Minshew will probably be the first guy off the bench, except I don't think Gardner Minshew is going to start the season with the Jaguars. I think he's going to end up probably with another team, which means that grabbing C.J. Beathard away from the 49ers was their backup plan all along. C.J. Beathard would be the first guy off the bench as the backup. He's been a backup. He started games. He has won NFL games. He's been around. He shouldn't have any problem learning the system. I think C.J. Beathard will do well for them if, in fact, they need him. Obviously, they want to keep Trevor Lawrence healthy because they believe in his skill set and all the things that he brings to the table. I do too. I think he's going to be a tremendous NFL quarterback as long as they keep him upright. Jake Luton, I don't have too much to say about him. He's a backup. I don't think he's got a lot of promise. The curious thing is Gardner Minshew. I believe they brought in C.J. Beathard because they don't expect to keep Gardner Minshew. Gardner Minshew has been a starter for long enough where he believes he should be a starter, and there's a possibility that he could be a starter for another team. Even if he has to go in as a backup, if he gets an opportunity to be a starter, he has proven that he can do it. He's not as dynamic a quarterback as you would want, but when you look at the teams that he played on, he didn't have a whole lot of support. And there were games when he played really well and showed his potential. So he's still got an opportunity to be a starter in the NFL. He's only been in the NFL for 3 years. So his future's still out there. I think they will end up either cutting him, trading him, releasing him, whatever. A lot of stuff's going to happen after June 1st. So we'll have to wait and see, because that's when teams can lessen their cap hits and all that stuff. But I'd say that they brought C.J. Beathard to be the guy off the bench. He's the backup. And you could do a lot worse. C.J. Beathard can win you some games. He can't carry the team, but he can win you some games.
You said about CJ, maybe, when he did come in for the Niners last season, that maybe if the team had been healthier, had been more functional, he might have been able to perform better. Absolutely. I've seen him perform better than he did last year.
Oh yeah.
So I wish him the best. As I look at the contract situation, you got Mr. Minshew there, who signed through 2022. This year, he's going to have a cap hit of about 800, a little under 900,000, and next year, 2022, about $1 million. So that's expendable money as far as contracts are concerned for a quarterback. Mr. Jake Luton is coming in, and he signed through 2023. Actually, they gave him that contract. But he doesn't have a big cap hit. 2020 to 2023, about $3.4 million. And then C.J. Beathard actually is signed through 2022 only. But they gave him a little more money between 2021 and 2022. He's at about 4.8, just under 5 million. So
right, that's the same deal as what's his face? As that's basically the same deal as friggin' Teddy Bridgewater.
Teddy Bridgewater. Interesting connection there between the two. And I remember saying that, and I need to double check this. Let me just, as I'm sitting here saying this, Justin Fields, right?
Right.
I wanted to take a look at Justin Fields. I hate when I'm typing on two different computers and I type into the wrong one. I do that every once in a while.
Oh, come on, bro.
Hey, look, man, carrying a lie here, but Justin Fields was signed full contract value of 18.8 million. He looks like he got about 4.7 up front. No, him and both
18.
him and Trevor.
Whoa. Run that by me again.
Contract value for Justin Fields, 18.8 million.
18.8 million. That's
contract
not
value for Trevor Lawrence, 36.7 million.
Okay, so what does contract value mean?
That's the total contract if they were to play it out in full. A lot of, very rarely do people do that. We've seen in third, fourth year things happen. My point in bringing this up, and I made this point in a previous show, that all the negative forces, I think, that came to play when it came to Justin Fields, compared especially to Trevor Lawrence, really impacted the size of the contracts. When Justin fell, what did he fall to, like 11th or something like that? He was, number 11 overall. So the difference, just looking at contracts, even if you take the names out, number 11 overall got an $18.8 million contract. Number 1 overall got a 36.79, just about 36.8 approximately $1 million contract.
And that's for how many years? 4, 5?
Yeah, that's pretty much a 4-year contract. 2021. And the way they do these contracts is they kind of pay them in such a way that they don't even have that he's been paid, that it carries through. When I'm looking at this here, his cap hit is only minimum 660 million for 2021. So,
660,000.
Yeah, 660,000. I'm sorry. That's why they love these rookie contracts.
Right.
Right. We know that, But my point was, if you just look at just gross contract numbers, 36, almost 37 million for the first pick, Trevor Lawrence. Number 11 got 18 million. So that negative aspect that really pushed him down really impacted his money. And that was my whole point. This was to just point.
But let's remember, Trevor Lawrence was the consensus number 1 overall pick in the draft. Okay. Justin Fields was just out there floating in space. Nobody exactly knew where he was going to land. And he ended up landing in the perfect place. He ended up landing with the team that has had nothing but quarterback problems for the last 3, 4, 5 years. It's perfect for him. If he is who he says he is, and who the people that believe in him say he is, and the potential that he showed at a major Division I college like Ohio State, if he pans out, bro, he gonna get his money on the back end. Trust me. If he can be a successful quarterback in the city of Chicago, a team that has been begging for a real quarterback for years and years and years, he's a made man. He's Al Capone up in that joint.
A made man, eh?
Yeah.
All right. Let's see who we have up next, Benny. Yes. These guys need a quarterback, man. They need a quarterback so bad. Kansas City Chiefs. Chad Henne, Anthony
Oh.
Gordon, and Shane Buccelli.
All right, this one's easy. Let's get through this real quick. So Patrick Mahomes is 6'3", 230. They brought in a guy that's 6 feet, 210, and another guy that's 6'3", 201. Okay? But the first guy off the bench for them, if something happens to Patrick Mahomes, is Chad Henne. He's been there. He's done that. He's got 14 years under his belt. Okay? 6'3", 222. I can't remember the last time Chad Henne was out for an injury. He knows the system. He knows the coaches. He's the best backup situation you could possibly have for a team like the Kansas City Chiefs. They're in good shape. Now, obviously, if Mahomes was to sustain a serious injury, just like any of these other starters out here, you would start to worry a little bit if Chad Henne had to carry them for 3 or 4 or 5 weeks, or going down the stretch, going into the playoffs or something like that. But if he just has to pinch hit for a game or two, that's your man. Chad Henne's the guy. So Kansas City's in good shape.
All right. And they got that guy, Patrick Mahomes, man. He just, I think he might be somebody someday.
Well, I tell you what, he's got a couple injuries under his belt. They might seem like nicks, but one of them was a bit of a turf toe. Turf toe ain't nothing to play with.
My man, Patrick Willis retired because of turf toe.
So did Deion Sanders.
Yeah. You ever had turf toe?
It hurts like a motherfucker.
I don't think you can say that on YouTube, but in any event. Don't worry. This is not made for kids, so don't sweat it too much.
I'm sorry.
So I get that it hurts. This is the point that you were trying to make. And so you've had it then. That was my point. You've had it.
Yes, the big toe on my right foot.
What? Like if you look at your toe, does it look funny? Is it bruised?
I don't know. Let me look.
You ain't got turf toe now.
No, there's no permanent visual damage.
Permanent visual. But you know something? It's funny that you say that because somebody was talking about prime time's toes and somebody was jacked up.
Yeah. I tell you what, it comes from stopping and starting and stopping and starting and stopping and starting and your toe jamming in your foot day after day after day, year after year after year after year. That's what it comes from. And then you make that one cut, that one great move, and you're like, ah. And it's not a break. It's not a dislocation. It's just crazy. It just won't go away. It just won't go away.
Okay.
When you might be able to ice and heat it and get through a few seasons, but when you start getting near the end of your career, you're like, I'm not doing this no more. Nah, I'm not doing this no more.
It's one of those constant pains.
Right.
Wow. Yeah, nothing like being in constant pain, man. That's crazy.
Here's an interesting room.
Yes, the Raiders, the Las Vegas Raiders. Derek Carr coming in as your incumbent, being backed up by a one-time starter, Marcus Mariota, and Nathan Peterman. Oh, man. Okay, we'll talk about Nathan Peterman.
No, let's not talk about Nathan Peterman. Let's not talk about Nathan Peterman. I need a drink on that one. Let's not talk about Nathan Peterman. Nathan Peterman, 6'2", 225, pretty strong arm. Don't think he has it up here. But you never know what can possibly happen when a guy gets a change of scenery. Okay? He gets up under John Gruden. Who knows? He might become a serviceable backup. Right now, Derek Carr is the clear starter. There is no real competition. But if there was ever any inkling of a quarterback controversy, this team would have it. Bringing in Marcus Mariota is a bit of a dangerous game for the Raiders to play, because I know, and you question this, but I believe that John Gruden really does like Derek Carr. I believe that John Gruden really does want to make this thing work with Derek Carr as his starter. But if there's any doubts in the back of his mind, those doubts would have led him to bring in Marcus Mariota. Marcus Mariota is a threat to Derek Carr. I don't know if he brought him in to be sure that if Carr gets hurt, Mariota can carry on. I don't know if he brought him in because he wants to light a fire under Derek Carr. But whatever it is, that makes this also a very intriguing quarterback room.
Well, Derek Carr is costing them about 20 to 21 to 22 million, somewhere in that range every year, cap hit number. 2020, 2021, 2022, it's over. Okay. So he's got this season and next season in terms of being a contract hit. His guaranteed salary ends in 2021. That's zero. Mm-hmm. So other than the cap hit, they're really not paying him anything. When we look at Mr. Mariota, he has a one-year contract valued at 3.5 mil. They gave him it's a base salary, 1.75 and 1.75 of a bonus. And we'll just mention Mr. Nathan Peterman has a 1 year contract at about $1 million. So he's there. Clipboard holding, as you might say, and just helping out.
All I can tell you about this team is Derek Carr better not get hurt. Because Marcus Mariota is a real proud guy. He comes from that same Pacific Islander type group that Tua comes from. And I believe that if he had gotten selected by the right team when he first came out of college, he would have had a lot more success. Unfortunately, he went to Tennessee, didn't have the kind of success we were expecting from him because I don't think the system fit him. But he's been around now long enough to be able to adapt to a couple of different systems. He still has running ability. He's over the injuries that he's had. He can still throw the ball. He doesn't have a terrific arm, but he's been around long enough to learn the ways of the NFL. If Derek Carr stumbles, gets injured, whatever, that could be it for him and the Raiders. Mariota's sitting primed and ready to take over. Well, we're going to replay this video because when this stuff that I'm saying starts happening, we're going to go back to this. I'm telling you, it's going to happen.
Yeah, that's why it's on video, mister. That's why it's there. Okay, good stuff, good stuff. Nathan Peterman. I know, when he was with the Bills, there was always that question, what would happen? So he's now there and as a Raider. It's amazing how these guys keep jobs, man. It is absolutely amazing to me. Quarterback, if you can get a backup quarterback job in the NFL, it's probably one of the best jobs in the world, man. Work hard, get paid millions, and never have to worry about taking a step in real action. They're
basically doing it off of knowledge.
Yeah.
You get a chance to hang around long enough to learn a system or two, to learn how to be a professional. You know what I mean? You have value. Even if
this guy that we're getting ready to talk about hasn't been around long, but he has value, Mr. Justin Herbert, and the Chargers with Chase Daniels and Easton Stick as the three quarterbacks in that quarterback room. So what do you got to say about Mr. Herbert, Justin Herbert, and the Chargers?
All right, let me get Easton Stick out of the way first. Easton Stick, I think, was the guy that backed up and then came in after Carson Wentz left. All right. Obviously, he didn't make any noise in North Dakota State because everybody kind of skipped over him and went right to Trey Lance. So that tells you that he's not making no noise. But Justin Herbert is the real deal. Justin Herbert surprised a whole lot of folks. And it's crazy how it happened with the whole Tyrod Taylor and the needle in the chest and the punctured lung and all that forced him into a starting position. And he just rode right to Rookie of the Year. Justin Herbert is the real deal, 6'6", 237. This guy is going to make a lot of money, and he's going to take the Chargers about as far as they can go. Their best bet is to build around him continuously for the next 2 or 3 years, give him everything he needs, and the Chargers could be in contention again very shortly. And Mr. Chase Daniel, another former backup with several teams, including your 49ers.
Mm-hmm.
You can't ask for a better backup. The
So
guy's
you like Chase? You like Chase coming in behind Justin?
Yeah, he's got 13 years under his belt. You kidding me? Chase Daniel's a good-ass backup. I have nothing bad to say about Chase Daniels and C.J. Beathard. I really don't.
Okay.
All their backup work has been under duress. All of it.
Well, let's say this much real quick. Easton Stick has a contract through 2022. His total value from 2019 to 2022 is about $3.2 million. So he got paid some decent money. And as we move over to Chase Daniel. Now, Chase Daniel only has a 1-year contract. Looks like the base salary was $1,075,000. His cap hit was only $850,000. So he might be.
That's a bargain. They got a bargain.
Yeah, he might. And for what they're saying he's getting, and of course, Justin's coming in on a rookie contract. Now, interestingly, Ben, he was drafted number 6 overall by the Chargers.
Yep.
He was drafted higher than Justin Fields.
Yep.
That's interesting. That he made more money than Justin Fields. His contract was $26.5 million plus.
Yeah, but you got to remember that was the year before. It was a totally different class. Again, like I said at the beginning of the video, if you're a quarterback and you get selected in the first round, especially high in the first round, if you don't play that year, you're the starter the next year. But they expect you to be able to come in and play if the guy ahead of you falters in any way at all. And even if he doesn't falter, as was the case with Fitzpatrick and Tua, we got a timetable for you. If we pick you early in the first round, you're going to play the first year. Either the first guy's going to falter or game 6, game 7, you're starting. So Herbert was going to start last year anyway. Tyrod Taylor's accident just kind of accelerated the process.
Well, we're looking for big things from him. He's got a good team around him. He's got all the talent in the world. He just has to deal with that AFC, man. You got Kansas City and you got all types of some competition over there. The Ravens, the Steelers. Okay, it's all relative. It's all relative. I'm looking forward to that competition.
Well, if you keep it simple and just look at the AFC West, where's the real competition? Kansas City and
the Chargers?
That's what I'm saying. What's the competition for the Chargers? Kansas City and
what do you got? The Raiders in Denver?
Exactly.
Good point. Good point.
Yeah, he's right on the chart. He's right on the Chiefs' behinds.
He got to get out of the AFC West. Okay, the Miami Dolphins, Tua Tagovailoa. How'd I do?
That was good. That was pretty good. That was good.
I've been working.
You've been practicing.
Now I might mess up Reed Sennett's name and Jacoby Brissett's name. No, I'm just not messing up Jacoby. But that's an interesting backup, Jacoby Brissett. I don't know much about Reed Sennett. Do you have anything on him?
Jacoby Brissett is going to, well, I don't have anything on Reed Sennett, obviously. Jacoby Brissett is setting himself up to have a very nice, long, and lucrative backup quarterback career. I can't hate on Jacoby Brissett because no matter where he goes, he always plays well. And he fits in a lot of different places. He's proved that he can learn a system. He can throw the ball. He can lead a team, either in the short term or in the long term. He's had the opportunity to do both. So having him as a backup is a really good thing. The problem is, I'm not exactly sure that the Miami Dolphins brass is fully sold on Tua. And I know we're saving the whole 2022 draft conversation, especially the quarterback draft, for a later video. But if Tua doesn't play well, the Dolphins are going to be one of the teams that we're talking about that's going to be looking for a starting quarterback again. They're also going to be one of the teams that's going to be in the Deshaun Watson running, if in fact, or if and when he's able to get out of Houston. The Dolphins are going to be they're going to be right up front trying to get him if Tua doesn't play out. But if something happens to Tua, if he starts off, gets a rough start, or he picks up another injury because he's got a little injury tag on him, Jacoby Brissett is a safe bet to come in and handle his business. Dolphins are full of playmakers. They've improved their team tremendously. This would be a great situation for Jacoby Brissett if he has to come in. He won't be under duress. He won't be pressured to you got to play great for us to continue to win. He's going to have lots of weapons, and he's going to know what to do with them.
Well, from what I can see here, Tua got a pretty nice contract. Total value came in at $30.275 million. So he got paid very nicely.
How many years?
Well, he's got the 2020 through 2023, the 4-year contract. He's hitting them on the cap at about 8 to 9 million, 6.8 in 2021, 8 in 2022, 9.6 in 2023.
Yeah,
so
a lot.
Well, that's the cap number. I mean, but they're paying him, if he goes through his entire contract, about 30 million. So that's not bad money for Mr. Tagovailoa. Mr. Sennett came in an undrafted free agent with the Buccaneers in 2020. He's getting paid about 1.4, a little under 1.5 million. Now, Jacoby Brissett, 2021 is his contract, $5 million. So that's what he's basically getting, guaranteed 2.5 prorated bonus, 2.5.
More than Bridgewater, more than Mariota.
There you go. That's kind of in line with what you were talking about, isn't it? Kind of in line. All right. Next up, we have, let's see if I can get this together here, because this is a very intriguing quarterback room because of all the things that this team has done that they never do. Let me see, what did they do? They signed a lot of they put out some big money. They're not the big money team. Matter of fact, their quarterback left because they wouldn't pay no big money.
You talking about the Patriots?
Talking about the Patriots. Might have been there might have been some poor clues, but that's who we're talking about.
Yeah, I'm sure he had other reasons to leave, but this is an intriguing room. This is an intriguing room. First of all, so they bring in Cam Newton. The wheels kind of fall off. Wasn't totally his fault. Then he caught COVID. So it was kind of a bad situation. Jarrett Stidham was there. They tried to pump him up to be the starter. As it got close to the season, they realized that he wasn't going to be it. That's why they brought in Cam. Now they grabbed Brian Hoyer as a backup. But this is kind of like, what team was it that I said that not a coincidence with the size and the I just said it. Doggone it. But dig this. You know Cam ain't going to be there long. You know Mac Jones is the quarterback of the future, right? Mac Jones, 6'3", 217. Brian Hoyer, 6'2", 216. Coincidence? I think not.
Well, okay. So the thing that we all said about Mac Jones had to do with his ability to get through his reads, make those quick decisions, and get rid of the ball quickly. Just the kind of guy that the Patriots like.
Right.
They had a guy who used to do that very good.
Right.
Cam Newton is really not the guy that was known to be doing that, but they showed some surprising flexibility in adapting to Cam and what they were doing. So I had to give it to him. Jarrett Stidham's been around now, what? How many years do they have him there for?
3.
Okay, so there you go. And then Brian Hoyer, Jimmy Christmas, 13 years. He's the only one got more years than Cam. So what do you think about that backup quarterback room?
Well, Brian Hoyer, career backup. If something happens to Cam, chances are Brian Hoyer will be the first one off the bench, unless Mac Jones does well in camp and learns the system quickly. I do not think that Bill Belichick will hesitate to start Mac Jones if Cam goes down. I think he'll go right. I think he'll stick him right in there if he feels he's ready. Now, how ready he'll be, I don't know. We'll see. They got OTAs, full camp, preseason games. It depends. But if Mac Jones progresses through learning the playbook and being able to adapt to the Bill Belichick system, I believe that if Cam Newton survives, win, lose, or draw, they could be winning. Win, lose, or draw. If he survives to like close to mid-season or a little past mid-season, and somehow he falters or he gets injured, I believe they'll stick Mac Jones in there. And then they'll just back him up with Brian Hoyer if he falls on his face.
I can see that. Taking a quick look here at just some of the contract situations that they have here. Brian Hoyer is very interesting because everything says zero. His valuation comes in at 1.19 million, but I'm not sure what's going on with the 2021 contract. Everything shows zero. Jarrett's been there now a while. He was 2019 4th round, 133 overall pick by the Patriots. And I think Jarrett Stidham was one of those guys that made me say, the Patriots are a really smart team. Why do they keep hanging on to this guy? You can't bring him in and really expect to do much with him. I didn't see that.
I personally thought that they could. I believe that they thought that the guy was going to develop and he was going to be okay, and that they would live with him until they could draft another quarterback. But when they figured out that they couldn't live with him, that's when they went and got Cam.
Yeah, well, they didn't get rid of him, so I got to give him something. He's still there. He's still there.
That's now. It's just that he can't execute to their liking. But Brian Hoyer's been there. He's been there, he's left, and he's come back. So he knows New England well. Brian Hoyer is a great backup for them.
Yeah. It looks like he's on a volunteer contract, but I'm sure that this just needs to be updated. You know what I mean? So that's an interesting group. But like I said, having Mac Jones there, I think he'll develop quickly. I really didn't want him in San Fran because I was still, I believe in Garoppolo.
They had you worried, didn't they?
Huh?
They had you worried, didn't they?
But the guys, they kept trying to talk him into my team. It's like, hey.
Listen to me, man. I told you ain't no way they pass on Trey Lance. There's no way they moved from where they were up to where they went to take no Mac Jones. Ain't no way. Wasn't gonna happen.
Well, I'm glad to hear that. I mean, really, I'm glad to hear that. So I was glad, I'm happy about Trey Lance. All right, we're about to wrap this up. We only got a few more teams. Let's take a look at the Jets. Now, for some reason, the Jets don't have their draftee on their list. And I don't know why. But let's look at Mike White and James Morgan. You got anything to say about those guys real quick?
No, I do not.
Ben. Wilson. What's his first name?
This is the Zach Wilson show from start to finish.
Zach Wilson. Now, let me tell you, we have something on our Facebook page. I don't know if you had a chance to see it or not.
Yeah, I saw it.
Ladies and gentlemen, you have to go to the Facebook page because you read these articles and you're like, really? But Zach Wilson, I did not know this. I didn't even know you could leave high school early and go play in college. I started looking it up, and we've got some articles on our Facebook page that talk about this. And again, this is Ben and Barry on football. We're on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, podcasts, and Fridays on WJRL953.com from 6 to 7:30. Okay. So he leaves high school early, goes to BYU, but comes back to his high school to go to the prom with not one, two BYU cheerleaders. Move over Broadway Joe Namath. Zach Wilson is in town. Zach has arrived, and he is ready for the Big Apple, if anybody is.
Now, he's a Mormon, right?
Hey, didn't stop him from bringing two cheerleaders to.
No. Mormons have like 8 wives. Why wouldn't he take 2 girls to the prom? That's my point.
Well, that's a good point. I hadn't looked at it that way. Now, wait a minute. He went to BYU. Are you saying that he is a Mormon?
Yes.
Okay.
Having multiples, that's their thing.
I know that's their thing, but I didn't know if he was a Mormon person.
Bro, he's a Wilson.
Wilsons are Mormons?
Wilsons and Youngs.
Really?
Yes.
I didn't know that. I have to call my aunt. She's a Young, find out what the heck's going on.
You're killing me, man. Look, I'm not surprised at this whole 2 girls to the prom thing. Evidently, he didn't get a chance to go to his senior prom. Is that how this worked out?
Right. I guess he did get a chance to go to it.
No, I'm saying when he was a senior in high school,
Well, he skipped. See, he went. That's what I'm saying. He never did senior year. He skipped as a junior and went
He
straight to
left
college.
and went to BYU. Right.
Yeah.
So he didn't come back. He came back because he didn't get a chance to do his senior prom.
Right.
But he didn't come back and get 2 high school girls. He brought 2 BYU cheerleaders. Dude, are you serious?
Player.
Guess what? He's built for New York City. Let's
Move
go.
with Broadway Joe.
Broadway Joe. Yeah, you're right.
If he shows up with a fur coat on,
he's got the Playboy looks. He's got it all, man.
and if he throws a couple of those crazy Mahomes-like passes that
Which
he has the capability, like he did in his pro day,
which they claim he can do, which I saw him do in his pro day. Yes, he will be the talk of the town.
Zach, what can I tell you? All right, let's move over to the Steel City. Pittsburgh Steelers. We know the incumbent, Ben Roethlisberger. We have Mason Rudolph. We have Dwayne Haskins and Joshua Dobbs. That is a crazy, crazy quarterback room right there.
So
you said, now this is one of your statements.
Okay.
That Dwayne Haskins had one of those tremendous opportunities.
Yes.
Just like Jameis Winston down in New Orleans.
Yes.
Pittsburgh, Ben Roethlisberger finishes out this year. And now you have a real quarterback competition with Dwayne Haskins having a real good opportunity there to really fight if he's able to get his act together.
Yes. I believe that. I still believe that. Joshua Dobbs has not made any noise while he's been down there. Mason Rudolph, I think, is a complete disaster. They know it. The Steelers know it. And that's why they took a chance on a guy who looked like he was a borderline bust with the Washington football team, and they brought him in, and that's Dwayne Haskins. 6'4", 218, can move, something they haven't had in 18 years. That's how long Big Ben's been there. Okay.
Wow.
Yeah. So it looks like the Steelers are ready to make the move into the modern era of quarterbacks that can throw from the pocket, are not necessarily runners, but have the ability to run and have the ability to escape the pocket if they get in trouble. That's today's quarterback. Dwayne Haskins fits the bill physically. Whether or not he can turn his career around now that he's with the Steelers remains to be seen. But I think they're going to give him every opportunity to do that. And if they do, and I've talked really bad about Dwayne Haskins in the past, but if he's able to turn his career around here in Pittsburgh, I would be more than happy. I don't have nothing against the guy, but he had one good year in college, and he came out, and he seemed like he was a bust. And all the reports about him were poor work habits and things like that. I hate to hear that kind of stuff. Don't waste this. This is an opportunity for greatness. This is an opportunity for generational success and wealth for your family. You don't take this lightly and blow it. And that seemed to be the road that Dwayne Haskins was going down. So I think that this is a great opportunity for him to take over a major franchise, because let's face it, Big Ben's not going to last. If he makes it through this season, I'll be slightly surprised. If he plays next year, I'll be shocked. So Dwayne Haskins couldn't ask for a better situation.
The setup for the setup, you know?
Yep.
I mean, setup for the setup. You got Dwayne Haskins isn't costing them a lot of money. He's about
Nope.
850,000. So, you know, he has an opportunity to show. Mason Rudolph is about done. He's signed through 2022. He got some nice money. He got total contract of a little over $6 million. Not bad, you know, for what he's produced.
Yeah.
And Joshua Dobbs is hitting them for about 900,000. That's about it. So they'll be very flexible in terms of having quarterback cap money. It'll be real interesting to see what the Steelers do coming up. Okay. All right, so we're going to wrap up our review of the AFC Quarterback Rooms. We've seen some intriguing rooms. This last room, though, is an interesting room also, no doubt about it. Let's take a look at those Titans. Ryan Tannehill, 10 years in the league, obvious incumbent. Logan Woodside, 2 years in, and Deshaun Kaiser. Did I say that right? 4 years in? Was it Deshaun? Not quite sure. In any event, there's no doubt about who the quarterback is there. But of the two backups, what do you think?
I have nothing to say about Logan Woodside, so I'm not even going to pretend. Deshaun Kaiser came out of Notre Dame and spent a couple of years in Green Bay. So that means he was up under Aaron Rodgers a little bit. So I'll give him some credit for getting a little knowledge from Aaron Rodgers. He's 6'4", 235, so he has the size. He has good arm strength. I remember watching him throw the ball. Deshaun Kaiser has the ability to be a good NFL quarterback and should be a fairly good backup for Ryan Tannehill. Now, Ryan Tannehill is not a guy that gets injured a lot. He knows how to chuck and duck. He knows when to get down. And he's still on the rise as far as coming back from the early part of his career with the Dolphins. So I'm still looking for big things from Ryan Tannehill. But if, in fact, he was to falter, I will be very interested to see how Deshaun Kaiser does. I can't really say with confidence that Deshaun Kaiser can carry them for a game or two if he has to, because I haven't seen him do it. You know what I mean? But I know he has the potential to do it. But he really hasn't had an opportunity to really show his ability. So this is a real iffy quarterback room, if I have to give it a label. Obviously, Tannehill doesn't have a long or extensive injury history. So they probably took getting a good backup for him a little lightly. Deshaun Kaiser has all the physical attributes and all that stuff. He just doesn't have the experience. So I don't know how to read this one. I really don't. He could come in, if Tannehill goes down, he could come in and be extremely successful, or he could completely fall on his face. I have no clue on this one. No
They
clue.
don't have a lot invested in either one of those guys.
Well, I wouldn't, because neither one of them is a proven commodity.
Interesting, Logan Woodside is actually getting a little more money. He's a little under 1.4 million total contract through 2021. Deshaun through 2021 is only 920,000. So he's actually getting paid a little bit less. So you're right. They're like the Steelers. They don't have a lot of money invested in those backups right now. Iffy is a good term, I think, for them. But like you said, Ryan Tannehill has Derrick Henry. He does not need to do a lot of running. That's going to protect him, keeping him from getting hit too much, as long as they can keep out of, obvious passing situations. So
the funny thing is, Ryan Tannehill can run.
Yeah, he can.
But he very seldom does it unless he is really under duress and forced from the pocket and has a short yardage situation where he can get a first down, or in the red zone. That's the only time you're going to see him take off. Other than that, he's going to find somebody to throw the ball to, or he's going to throw it out of bounds. He's not taking sacks, and he's not taking big chances. That's how you stay healthy.
That's what I want from my quarterback.
Right.
You
right.
know,
right.
That's what I want from my quarterback. Right. So, all right, man. I mean, who do you know who goes through a quarterback room for every team in the league beside Ben and Barry on football?
Nobody.
Nobody. No doubt about it. Okay, so let me again. This is Ben and Barry on football. You can reach us at www.benandbarryonfootball.com. You can find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube, and podcasts for Apple Podcasts, Anchor Podcasts, and Spotify. Oh, yeah, can't forget Spotify. And this Friday, we will be on the online radio, WJRL953.com. Tune in at 6, run from 6 to 7:30. What you don't hear on the radio, you will hear on the YouTube channel, because we get 90 minutes on the radio, and on YouTube, they don't care how long we go. So we can go as far as we want to go. As we begin to wrap this puppy up, Ben, you like my background?
Yeah, what is that? The Oculus?
I do believe.
Oh, nice.
Yes, I just travel around the world like this now. I just pop in.
Yeah, that's cool. I've been hearing a lot of Eagles fans talking about going to the Raiders game. Evidently, the Eagles play the Raiders in Las Vegas.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's a big game. There a lot of folks are talking about taking that trip. So don't be surprised if you watch it on TV and you hear more cheer for the Eagles than you hear for the Raiders. Because
Eagles seen that in Super Bowls. Didn't that happen in the Super Bowl?
Yes, Eagles fans do travel well. I will say that. They travel well, and they're very boisterous. So this one is on everybody's calendar, and yeah, it's gonna be a big deal. That's gonna be a big deal.
So you like my T-shirt?
Yes, Jimi Hendrix.
Shout out to my niece Tanya DeVoe. She, her and her husband Donald gave me this T-shirt. It's a hand-painted Hendrix, and I don't normally even wear it. That's just normally.
That's beautiful. No, that's
around. Yeah. So I don't want to get it dirty and anything like that, and get anything. You know.
I know how that is. I got a John Coltrane T-shirt, and I never wear it.
You know what I mean? It's really weird that works that way, but okay. I got a couple of these, so you know. But she takes good care of me, so thank you very much, my niece. I love her very much, as I do all my nieces and nephews and family. Okay, Mr. Dickerson, I know you want to get to your Sixers. Is halftime over yet?
Yeah, halftime's over. They're in the third quarter. I think it's like 8 minutes left. It's a commercial right now, so I'm not exactly sure what the score is, but they're up like 15.
I do believe that Trae Young is in New York now.
That game tonight.
I'm not sure what that situation is. I think that game's running now too, isn't it?
Is it?
I do believe.
Oh man, that
they
might
had
be
one that started at 7 and one that started at 7:30. I do believe so. Anyway, we're all excited about playoff basketball. That's my second favorite sport, probably. Not probably. It's my second favorite sport. Mr. Dickerson's a pretty big basketball fan. We've done some historic basketball games together.
Oh God, bro, that reminds me. I was in the bar last week after our game, and we were talking about old school basketball, new school basketball, and arguing back and forth with the young guys. And I told them we were there through the George McGinnis years.
Ugh.
We were there when Daryl Dawkins' brother came out of the stands and tried to help him beat up Maurice Lucas. We were there. Magic Johnson's rookie year. Remember, we were sitting in the stands watching the tunnel to see if Kareem came out, because the rumor was that he didn't make the trip because he was hurt. And we kept saying, oh, he's not coming. He's not coming. And the game was going to start. He's not coming. We're going to win. And Magic scored 42 on us. Magic
Who
Plate
is
Center.
that guy? We're like, who is that guy?
Like Magic Plate Center. I'm like, he's not a center. He's a point guard. Oh, we were there for all the heartbreak.
Yeah, we were there when everybody left as we were still sitting in the chairs going, what happened?
I told my boys that. I was like, the place was cleared out. The spectrum was empty. Yes, the spectrum was empty. And me and you were sitting there in our seats like that.
You know, I never considered myself a fan of any particular team before becoming a fan of the Bulls. You know, just the whole concept of fandom was different to me. I was a fan of Dr. J.
Yes,
There was no doubt about that. I absolutely love Dr. J. I was telling my daughter I actually met Dr. J. Me and Mr. Tyrus Robinson. We were out with the wives having dinner downtown at a restaurant that had an attached bakery, and I don't remember what restaurant that was. But Tyrus looked over in the bakery and he said, "There's Dr. J." And there he was. He had a hooded fur jacket on, right? Ordering some pastries. So we jump up, we had nothing for him to sign. So we grab our bill, the bill that, they give you. And so we run that over and we're like, can we get your autograph? Can we get your autograph? And the lady behind the counter, she's like, "You can't use that." We're like, "Lady, that's Dr. J." She's like, "What?" Like she didn't know, He's breaking out papers for all of us. I have no idea where that autograph is.
What?
No idea where that autograph is. But I will say this much. I shook his hand. He had the biggest, softest hands. Like his hands had never done one iota of manual labor ever.
And your hand disappeared.
Disappears. I was just, yeah, absolutely.
Wow.
He was great though, man. He was great. It was great to have the opportunity to meet him. I've only met a couple real celebrities like that. The football celebrity that I met. You ready for this? You ready for this?
Corey Clement. No, I'm playing.
You know something? I did not include Corey Clement. I did not include. Who caught the ball for the Immaculate Reception?
Okay, I don't know why I'm blanking because I know.
Steelers Raiders, the Immaculate Reception, the running back.
Mike Davis?
Huh?
Mike Davis?
For the Steelers?
Oh, Franco Harris.
Franco Harris. Yeah.
I went to college with Franco.
Well, see, you went to college with him, but I was downtown working one time when I was in marketing, and I looked down. What's the one of the large streets down there with the hotel, and I see this big tractor trailer. It was a meat trailer. And I see Franco Harris coming out of the hotel. He was a representative of this meat company at some particular point. And I recognized him right away. And I pulled out my business card. I don't know where that is either. And I know. What can I tell you?
You're horrible.
And I go up to him and I get his autograph. Great guy. No problem, man. He's like pulls out the pen. He's giving me an autograph. This is the funny part. Two young ladies are walking up. They see me getting his autograph. And the one young lady looks at him and he goes, "I know who you are. You're Fran Tarkenton, right?"
Oh, no.
He starts laughing and he goes, "No, but I wish I had his money."
Uh-huh.
It meant nothing to me at the time. I just thought it was funny.
But you understand it now, though.
As a representative for Legal Shield, who used to partner with Go Small Biz, which was founded by Fran Tarkenton, I find out now that he was a serial entrepreneur, was making money hand over fist after football. Franco knew it. I didn't know it at the time. But it was funny that he said that, and then years later, I wind up actually marketing services for Fran Tarkenton. So great, crazy, crazy world this is, man. All right, I'm gonna let you go for basketball. Last word goes to you, Mr. Dickerson.
Atlanta is up on the Knicks 45-41. 3 minutes left before the half. And the Sixers are up. It's commercial, but they were up 15 the last time I looked. They're in the third quarter. Third quarter is just about to end, I believe. So all is well.
Good chance they'll sweep. I believe that.
All is well. I believe the Sixers will sweep. I believe New York will bounce back and win this game. So enjoy the basketball playoffs, but we will be back to talk more football.
Let me mention real quick. I did not mention Memorial Day on our online radio station. We're going to have a special 1 hour show.
Yes.
You want to tell them what you're going to be doing, Mr. Dickerson?
Well, I was just getting ready to say we will be back probably sooner than people will realize. And we're going to do that Memorial Day thing. And when we do, I will have my NFL 2021 power rankings. My personal power rankings has nothing to do with the Sterling net point power rankings. This will be my power rankings, but we will save them and see how they line up when the season gets ready to start and we talk about the Sterling net point power rankings.
This is a first, ladies and gentlemen. This is a first. All right, Mr. Dickerson, last word.
That's it. All I got is go Knowles.